Anyway, going back to before Purim, because for 2 weeks before Purim we learned the halachos of Purim, and then we learned for 30 days the halachos of Pesach. So now we're going back to where we were. It's a good thing I had a mark in my book to remember where I was. I would have forgotten. Anyway, we're learning the dinim of Shabbos, and the last dinim we're learning is the concept of carrying on Shabbos. Like articles of clothing, what type of clothing, if it's clothing to protect your body to warmth, or that your body shouldn't get wet, so then you're allowed to wear again, we're talking in a situation where there's no eruv. If there's an eruv, then all these things are mute because you're carrying it, because you're allowed to carry in the eruv. But here we're talking about just the halachos of Shabbos as far as what is considered carrying or not, in the case where there's no eruv. So you're learning the various different things. Coats, you can wear 5 coats because every coat adds warmth. We're discussing the argument if you're allowed to wear a rain hat on top of a regular hat. Is it protecting the hat? So then you wouldn't be allowed to wear it on Shabbos. If it's protecting your body, that you shouldn't get wet, then you would be allowed to. We discussed this way before a few months ago. Okay, so now let's discuss wearing things which are not non-clothing articles. I mean, clothing is clothing. Clothing you're allowed to wear. But for instance, are you allowed to wear jewelry on Shabbos? Again, we're talking about no eruv situation, right? So it's very interesting because in the Gemara it says that women are not allowed to wear jewelry on Shabbos, period. That's what the Gemara says. Why? So the Gemara says because a woman's going to meet her friend in the street, and she's going to say, hey, look at my new necklace I just got, or look at this ring I just got. She's going to take it off her finger, show it to the friend, and then she's going to keep walking with it. And she's going to forget it's Shabbos, and she's going to be carrying in a public domain, so it would be forbidden. And in the Gemara, it's clear that your women are not allowed to wear jewelry on Shabbos. Later on, in the time of the Gaonim and the Rishonim, the halacha changed for many reasons. They want to say, even though they question why did it change, but to say, because today we don't have a real Rosh Hashanah. We learned already in the past that there's 2 opinions. What is the definition of a public domain? Okay, one opinion is if it's 16 amas wide. An amma is like 1.5 to 2 feet. So any street which is 16, like 32 feet, it would be considered, or less than 32 feet, would be considered a public domain if people walk there. So basically any of these streets would be a public domain. But another opinion says, no, it has to be like it was in the time of the Mishkan. Now the Mishkan had 600,000 people in that Mishkan area. So according to many opinions, Rosh Hashanah is classified as not only 16 amas wide, but also you need 600,000 people walking. Now we're not getting into that now, but then you have an interesting question. What does it mean 600,000 people walking? If they're driving, does that count? If they're biking, does that count? And then, bus is a good point. Or let's say you have streets leading up, because a street, halachically, that opens to a public domain, might have a din of a public domain also. So now you're talking about neighborhoods. So you have in the small cities, obviously, then according to those opinions, you don't have a real public domain, because they don't even have 600,000 people in the city. They can have 20,000 people, whatever. In the big cities, it's questionable. Some people want to write, in fact, in the Alter Rebbe, in Shulchan Aruch writes, that now we don't really have a Rosh Hashanah with 600,000 people. But that doesn't mean the Alter Rebbe would hold that in a big city, where you do have 600,000 people, that there wouldn't be a public domain. He would hold there is a. He's just saying a fact. In Russia, where they were, they didn't have a big city with 600,000 people at that time. So, but then anyway. So now they say, some poskim want to write the reason why they're more lenient with jewelry today. Number one, because women buy jewelry more often. And it's not something you just show off to everybody, to take off from yourself, and then you're afraid you're going to be able to carry it. So whatever the reason is, today they're more lenient with women wearing jewelry. Men wearing jewelry would be an issue unless if it's a place where men wear jewelry also. Men probably would take off the jewelry less than a woman would to show off to her friend. Well, the question is, like for instance, wearing a watch on Shabbos. So Lepel, it's not so simple. I mean, there are poskim that say, many reliable poskim that hold you could wear a watch on Shabbos. It's a garment. One second. It's a garment. You're wearing it. You wear it, even in English. You say you're wearing a watch. Or in Yiddish, you say "trux da zegel," which means you're wearing it. Something you're wearing, not carrying it. It's not in your pocket. A lot of poskim write interestingly that what happens if you remember they used to have it. The golden watch or the silver watch is a round thing on a chain, and you went into your vest pocket. So a lot of poskim would hold that even if you'd be allowed to wear a watch on Shabbos, but that you wouldn't be allowed to wear on Shabbos. Why? Because you're actually wearing it, you're carrying it, and it's hidden. So the jewelry piece is jewelry, but if you're hiding the jewelry piece, then it's questionable. Is that considered actually a jewelry piece that you're wearing as an ornament? And some people even question, let's say a woman, I'm not saying everybody agrees with this, but to show the extent of it, some people question if a woman has an expensive diamond necklace, yeah? And she's afraid to walk in the street that somebody might rip it off her, yeah? So she wears it underneath that you can't see it. So then poskim question, is that called wearing jewelry? It's not an ornament. She's not wearing it as a beautiful jewelry piece. Again, a lot of poskim are lenient, but I'm saying there are poskim that say that then you're not called wearing jewelry. So then you wouldn't be allowed to do that.
Take it out.
But one second. For instance, one thing is for sure, a man can definitely, even those poskim that say a man can wear a watch on Shabbos, that's only if it's working. So let's say the battery died. Okay? Then again, we're talking no Erev, right? So again, you can't wear the watch because a man usually doesn't wear a watch as a jewelry piece. A man wears a watch to be able to tell time. But nobody's going to wear, a man usually will not wear a watch that's not working. Women, if it's a jewelry watch, diamonds and gold, women will wear it as a bracelet. Even if it doesn't work, they'll wear it. So for a woman to wear a watch that doesn't work as a jewelry piece would be much more lenient than a man to wear a watch that's not working. But some people don't wear watches on Shabbos. Some people don't wear watches on Yom Tov either. In Chabad, generally, we don't. But again, some poskim write ornamental watches. You could, some not, you can't. Now, there's also an issue, which is a very important issue. Again, if there's no Erev, I need a key to my house. So how do I get into my house? So people have what's called Shabbos belts. What is a Shabbos belt? The key is actually part of the belt. Now you can't just stick a key hanging on your belt. That's carrying. The key is not being used. There's no function of the key as a clothing. But what happens, I should have brought one. I have a Shabbos one, I don't have a weekday one. But what happens if you have a key, okay? Let's say you need a key to your house. So a key, let's say, has 2 holes on top, right? The key has 3 holes. So then you have 2 holes on top. So now I make, before Shabbos, let's say, I take elastic and tie a knot on 1 hole. And then I tie a knot, bring the elastic around, and tie a knot on the other end. Okay, so now there's a elastic or a string, but the key is actually part of the belt. Because if you take away the key, you don't have a belt. So even though part of the key is hanging down, but the bottom line is the 2 holes are away from each other, so the top of the key is a major part of this belt. So then you would be allowed to wear it on Shabbos, because then it's a belt. Then you have a question, how many belts are allowed per garment? That's another issue in halacha that we discussed briefly a while ago. But again, let's say somebody has a gartel, okay, and they want to wear a gartel home, let's say, okay, but they're not going to wear it over their jacket or kapot or whatever. They're going to wear it under the jacket, under the shirt, right? So now the question is, if I already am wearing a belt, so the shirt already has a belt. So you can't put 2 belts in the same garment because then one's not functioning. No, but if you have your shirt tucked into your pants, right? If you're not a yeshiva bacher, you're a normal person.
That's interesting.
Right. That has a shirt tucked into the pants. Okay? So then the belt is functioning for the pants and the shirt. Now, if you technically would have the shirt out of the pants and the belt is for the pants, then the shirt could have a belt because it's a separate garment. Well, what happens if you're suspenders? Then you don't have a belt, so then you could wear a belt over the garment because it's still a belt and it's only one belt. But if you have two belts, so then it might be a shaila on Shabbos. I mean, people have to take that into consideration. It's not all the details, not for now. But these are issues that people have to keep in mind. So if you want to have, now there's another way what women do. They do it in New York a lot. They take a key to the house, and a jeweler puts diamonds on it, and puts gold, plating of gold on it, and it's actually a diamond piece, and it becomes a brooch, a pin. So then the din is, then it's a jewelry piece. It's not you can't just take a regular key and pin it to your lapel. I mean, that's not going to do anything. It's not an ornament. But if you make a fancy key out of it, so some poskim want to be machmir that you should wear it once in a while during the week also. But otherwise, most poskim disagree with that. But you can wear it, if you wear it as a jewelry piece, it looks nice, so then it has a din of a jewelry piece. Then when you come home, you pin it and you open the door and you, whatever, pin it back again. So all these things are issues that they're not garments, but they are things that people have to keep in mind. Then you have, for instance, are you allowed to wear glasses on Shabbos? Eyeglasses.
Sunglasses?
We're not there yet. We're by regular glasses. Then we're going to come to sunglasses. So you're allowed to wear regular glasses on Shabbos. So to say everybody in the world does, no. But the most opinion, very big, vast majority of opinions hold that if you always wear glasses, then you're allowed to wear them on Shabbos. If they're reading glasses that you wear only when you read, then you're not allowed to wear them on Shabbos. Again, if there's no Eidif. Why is that? Again, in English, the expression is we wear glasses. You're wearing them. It's a garment. You actually wear the glasses. But again, when we learned about wearing, there's a fear that it's something that you might take off in the street and forget it that it's Shabbos and walk with it. So then you're not allowed to wear it on Shabbos because you may come to walk with it, Chazal say. So if somebody has glasses that they wear the whole time, so we're not afraid you're going to walk in the street, take them off, and just keep walking with it. Why would you take them off? You never take them off. But if you're reading glasses that you put on and off, so then those reading glasses, if there's no Eidif, you're not allowed to wear in the street on Shabbos. Why? Because of Gzeira. Chum said you might come and take it off and forget it's Shabbos, and you can keep walking with it. That's the same issue with sunglasses. So if somebody, let's say, has prescription sunglasses, then the sunglasses are actually, so then it's like regular glasses because you're wearing it the whole time. You need it to see. But if somebody has, let's say, clip-ons, or just a pair of sunglasses they don't need to see, they're just wearing sunglasses, so then it's very questionable if you can wear them on Shabbos because those things go on and off. You're out of the sun, you're going to take off the glasses. You're in the sun, you're going to put them back on. So again, we're afraid it's not a prescription lens that you're going to be always wearing. So again, those become questionable. There's no Eidif about wearing those types of sunglasses.
The key that you mentioned about the pin, are you going to make a hole in the garment to put the pin in?
You're allowed to make a hole in the garment like that. One for sure, according to many opinions, even two. It's the same question with a safety pin. We learned that a while ago. You're allowed to use the safety pin on Shabbos. Because let's say that a hem fell out or whatever, and you want to pin it, right? So there are many opinions in halacha that say you can't use a safety pin if it's going to go in and out. Why? Because then it's sewing.
Right,
if you just put in a safety pin, it's not going to hold it either, but then it's not sewing because it's not really holding it. But many poskim many poskim hold, and it's very possible that that's what the Rebbe would hold based on the tshuva and Mechas Yitzchak, that even if it's in and out, you could do it. But if you want to wear a pin as a jewelry piece, you don't have to put it in and out. You can put it in once. What?
My sunglasses, if someone wears them, can they lift them up? Because then if it's like decorative sunglasses.
No, then for sure you're not wearing it. Then that's carrying.
But it's decorative, or it's like helping them, like their hair isn't falling in their face. So it's like people wear sunglasses, out of the brand or whatever. So it's like if they lift them up.
Something that you don't always wear, I mean, you take it on and off.
No, but you don't take it off. You just
So
like your
that
glasses,
part that you're
your-
picking up is not part of it's not being used now as the garment that you're wearing. Yeah, let me ask you a question. Could somebody walk in the street like this with the glasses up?
No.
Good, you're a big rabbi.
Why not if it's decorative?
Brilliant man.
They want to look.
Man or woman? Men don't wear decorative stuff. Men, the ornaments don't exist by a man, halachically.
So by a woman.
Also not.
But women wear hairbands.
Hairbands is to hold the hair in place.
So she would lift up the sunglasses.
That's not, it's because you don't want them on your eyes. It's convenience. Instead of taking them off, you just pick them up. They're not functioning. A hairpin is functioning to hold up the hair. That you're allowed to wear on Shabbos. What?
Or someone that when they walk down the street, a lot of times they don't want to see what's going on, so they go like that. So
No,
can they wear
it's not derech to be, no, they're not allowed to.